Right, bike setup in Ride 6. I've spent the last few days testing out loads of different things, trying to find the best or the perfect setup for me in Ride 6 anyway. Pretty happy with it at the moment. Managed to get this record out of Mugello earlier, so it can't be too bad. But first, instead of just showing you that setup, I thought I would show you how you can find the best setup for your own riding style. So I'm going to explain what everything does and my recommendations before I show you my own setup at the end. If you do just want to copy that and go for it, that's up to you. So in real life, what we would do here, preload and spring stiffness you would set to your weight, and then compression and rebound you'd basically turn off, try and get a feel for it, do some laps, write down how it felt, put the compression on max, do some laps, write down how it felt, compare, take it back to 0 and do the same like that, and then you can take a best guess if you preferred higher or lower on this, and then you'd set them. Once you feel like you've got the front dialed in to however you like it, then you would do the same on the rear. You always want to set up the front first and get the best feeling possible. That's where most of the time comes from. And then the rear afterwards, although some rear suspension changes can alter the feeling of the front. I like to have my bikes really angled, and especially in Ride 6, trying to make it a lot more flickable. Put the preload on 0 on the front, put it on max on the rear, and then you're keeping a bike that is shoving all the way on the front. If you're having issues with rear grip, you might want to lower this though, so it's a bit more balanced. Especially with flicking in the turns, the rear can be a bit too light. Spring stiffness is how hard how hard the front spring is. Personally, stiffer just feels way more accurate. And out of oil, I believe, changes how linear the suspension is. I've found 8, honestly, the best for me. But yep, again, test it yourself. Compression, I know from many milestone games, I always prefer low compression and high rebound damping. And the theory behind this is the compression is the speed the front fork goes down, so when you grab the brakes, and the rebound is how much it comes back when you release the brakes. If you have rebound low, it's going to rebound like a pogo stick and bounce all over the place, not good for grip. So I think it's better compress quickly and then use the rebound to hold the front down into the corner when you release and start getting on the throttle, and it can help pull the bike around for the exit as well. Preload on the rear, as I said, yeah, maxed out because of the geometry. Spring stiffness on the rear, you can go hard. You want the rear to compress a bit so it doesn't put too much force through the rear tire. If it's too hard, you're going to spin because of that. If it's too soft, the rear is going to compress, bottom out, and then again put too much force through the rear tire and spin. You want it slightly on the harder side so that it doesn't absorb as much energy as well. But again, this is a video game, so I think you can just leave that on full if you like, or experiment. And I think we want some compression damping in the rear. But again, rebound, a nice slow rebound makes the bike a lot more controllable, a lot more reactive to bumps and curbs, but more controllable. Vehicle geometry, swing arm length, a longer wheelbase will make the bike a lot more stable, more controllable. It won't stoppy and it won't wheelie so much. That all sounds great, right? But it comes at the expense of actual turning. It's just much better for several reasons to go with a longer swing arm length, especially with powerful bikes. Less powerful bikes, you might want to experiment, try different things, but 1000cc RM to longer, the better. And chain tension doesn't really make sense. It's not something you would adjust. Really, in real life, you kind of set it to a set amount. Making it tighter or looser, not a good idea. You can end up breaking the chain or it coming off of the sprocket. I've played around with it anyway. 7 seems good. Transmission's a bit of a complicated one. You might want to set that depending on the track and the type of bike you're on. Basically, if you increase this, you'll get more acceleration at the expense of top speed. As you can see by like the speeds on the left, even though they are incorrect, unfortunately you can't use them as a reference. They don't seem to match up with the speeds in the game. Final ratio is probably where you should start when adjusting this. If you find you're not using all of the revs in 6th gear or not 6th gear at all, you should start moving this up. And if you're running out of revs, you're running out of top speed on the straights, you want to move it this way. Important thing to note though is on the 1000cc, anything over this seems to be uncontrollable. You're just going to start spinning up way too easy. You don't get much drive forwards, so may be better to adjust these on their own if you're trying to get more acceleration. And lastly, you just might want to adjust these individually. If gear changes are coming at the wrong moment for a corner, you can make the gear slightly longer so you stay in that gear for a bit longer, or you make it shorter so you change up before, whenever the issue is. Right, I've done some testing at Daytona and I've found that anything over 2 seems to kill your speed down the straights. After 2, not really noticeable. Even on the RM1000s, you're going to need to somehow learn how to ride with this on 2 or less if you want to be really fast, or just go for it if you'd rather get around the track and don't care about losing that bit of speed. Anti-wheelie, again, may cut the power. It wasn't anywhere near as obvious. 3's a nice middle ground. 4 might cut the power too much. Less than 3, you're going to struggle going forwards and not up. Lower it depending on the bike. Same as this. If you're on the lower CC bikes and you can get away with 1 or 0, do it. Absolutely do it. And then engine brake. Engine brake is how much it's going to try and slow down the back wheel as you change down gears. In this game, engine brake is like crazy high. If you have it on 4 and you're changing down gears, the bike's going to kick out sideways. If you do it leaned over, loses the front really easy, especially on the baggers. Every time you change down gear leaned over, it pushes the front a bit, the front goes. But yeah, baggers, 2 cylinders, things like that, you might want to do 2 or less. 4-cylinder bikes, 3 seems fine for me, but yeah, you still might want to do less if you're getting issues with downshifts. And yeah, 4 seems silly on everything. Power, I've managed to win races online in the rain with power on 2. You don't need to change it to rain just because it's raining. What I would suggest though is putting traction control up. It'll kill a bit of speed, but it won't matter so much in a rain. But yeah, power you can just keep on full. Only really going to use it for endurance racing. And then ABS just off, obviously. Oh, quick note on tyres. Right, I've realised the soft tyre in Ride 6, it's way too hot. Even if you don't have tyre wear on, like in time trial mode or whatever, the front tyre starts to overheat and it loses grip. So it's actually better to go with the soft option. Rear, so far, you try and avoid it spinning up anyway, so you're going forwards and not up or sideways. So yeah, I've had no issues with the soft tyre at all yet. Soft rear, good. Hard front, definitely. As you can see, look, top 3 guys here, all with the hard front tyre. Also, something to note, the Ducati Panigale seems to be the fastest bike by far in Ride 6. I tried doing this with the M1000 before, couldn't get past 4th. Changed to the Panigale. Oh, first. Even though it's 2019, Panigale seems to be the best bike so far. Okay, as promised, here's the setup. I'm currently using it. I'm going to use it across every bike from now on. I'm only going to make changes to transmission if the bike needs it, and electronics. Obviously, lowering electronics for lower CC, lower powered bikes. Maybe geometry, I really don't think I'll bother unless I'm having issues with it. But yeah, what I did with this, I got 0 preload, 8 preload, as I said earlier. Keep the bike at that angle on the nose, super flickable. Spring stiffness max, amount of oil max, compression 0, rebound max, preload, oh I said that max, spring stiffness got 6, compression 2, rebound 8 for the rear. Transmission wise, right, I've lowered first slightly so it doesn't slide as easily. Kept second and third as usual. brought fourth down to be a bit longer. That's because I found on this track you only need to use 5 gears, and that was faster than changing gear, and even with a low ratio for 6th. And that's it, I only use the 5 gears. Bring arm length 8, chain tension 7, and then I use 2, 3, 3, 2, 0. Obviously traction control, anti-wheelie, and engine brake might change depending on the bike. That's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helps.